I was a little whip, father captain of this big old ship. Sail on out in a crazy fit, trying to find treasure. All them sinners would swing on by, sing a couple of songs, and then start to cry. Well, we still carry on, sailing along until the favorite song came around about dawn. Heidi, 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 oh. We got thick, salty blood and watery soul.
Greetings, Ever. Hey, Maya. Ahoy, fellow travelers. I am so excited for our Ship of Treasure adventure today.
Me too. But something is missing.
What is it?
Where is the ship?
The key word is imagine.
I have an idea. Let's step aboard the Ship of Treasure by using our imaginations.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Treasure!
Pieces of paper.
And feather pens.
Let's use these treasures to write our own story.
Once upon a time,
there was a ship of treasure.
Well, it started when I was a little whip, father captain of this big old ship. Sail on out in a crazy fit, trying to find treasure. All them sinners would swing on by, sing a couple of songs, and then start to cry. Well, we still carry on, sailing along until the favorite song came around about dawn. Heidi, 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 oh. We got thick, salty blood and watery soul.
What type of writing is printed in a book?
I know the perfect person to ask.
Hello.
Hello. I am looking for books about books. Do you have anything like that?
Well, I do have a section upstairs. Yes, just this way. The section here. A section in which you can find books, about the printing, the design, the publishing, the selling, and the collecting of books.
How long have you owned a bookshop, may I ask?
Oh gosh, so I've been a bookseller now for 30 years.
What is it that is so special about books?
I suppose mostly it's that they represent a repository of knowledge and erudition, and to have them around you, they somehow seem to rub off on you, I think, and come to life.
Today we have the printed word on the internet and on computers. Do you think books are still valuable?
Oh, very much so. I think people are buying more and more books now than they ever did. More and more books are being published now than they ever were before. And I think it's just the tactile element of a book, something you can hold in your hands and extract the information and pleasure from them that just can't be replicated electronically.
What made you interested in books in the first place?
Well, I've always read and I've always enjoyed having books around me. And it just seemed like it would be, once I got around to that time in my life, a nice way to spend the rest of my life.
And then you opened this bookshop.
Yes.
What a wonderful tale.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, and I'll take a look.
Yes, go ahead, please do.
This book is about different types of lettering. Look at all these different types of letters.
Bookmakers make choices about every aspect of a book. how the text appears, how the pictures look, where everything is placed on the page, what kind of paper to use, not to mention the story they want to tell. There are different ways to bind the pages of a book together. Usually groups of pages are folded into units called signatures, then stitched or glued to a central binding. This is the spine of the book. And these are the covers. This book has a dust jacket. That's a piece of paper that wraps around the cover to protect it. Wow, look at that book. This book is encrusted with jewels on the front. In a bookshop with old and new books, you never know what you might discover. Old books and new books. Books with pictures and books without pictures. Books with printed text. Books with handwritten text. There are all sorts of books, and it is the beauty and diversity of books from every age that makes them such a magical thing.
Eva, how do you decide if you want to have a book?
I like a book that has wonderful words inside, looks interesting to me, it calls to me. I think this might be the one. It's called Books, From Papyrus to Paperback. This is all about the history of books. I found a book I'd like to purchase. It's all about books.
Oh, wonderful. Just what you were looking for. That's £4, please. Oh, lovely.
1, 2, 3. Thank you. There are many types of writing. We can write stories, poems, newspaper articles, essays, and books. We can write fact or fiction. Over the past 5,000 years, technology has broadened our options for how to print words and pictures on paper. From handwriting to block printing, screen printing, movable type, printing presses and typewriters, computers and digital printers. Want to see a really early type of writing? It is called cuneiform. It looks hard to read today, but the Sumerians from ancient Mesopotamia knew how to read it. To write, they made grooves in soft clay. Wow! In the 15th century, a machine called the printing press was invented in Europe. It used metal type and made printing multiple copies of the same text faster than ever before. Let's check out a printing press, or letterpress, wherever is printing the cover of a book. I'm here to print my book, The Periwinkle Moon. The cover will be printed on a letterpress. So what is this machine?
This is a Heidelberg windmill, the 1976 printing press.
When something is printed on a press, you can feel the texture of the printing on the paper because the image or text is stamped into the page. These drawers are called type cases. They hold all 26 letters of the alphabet. Originally, an upper type case held the capital letters. Positioned below it was a lower case containing the smaller letters. The letters are printed backwards, but when they are printed on the page, they will be right-facing. Here's an example of how type is placed into a metal frame called a chase. See how tiny the text can be? Today, printers can also etch a polymer plate with a design. Wow, look at this plate.
That's your plate.
Yes. Next, we need to choose our color.
It gives you a formula. We're going to need 16 parts, 072, and then we're going to put 2 parts of black to get your color. So this is 072 blue. We're going to measure it out with this device. We're going to scoop out the color by weight. Now we just have to put little pieces. It's going to be tough. Yay!
Ah, wow.
88.1. That's the blue. We're going to put that away. You remember how much black we need? We're going to do it the easy way, and we're just going to keep adding black until we reach 100.
Can you make any color?
Absolutely. Thousands of colors. And it's all made from 11 different mixing colors. 98, 99. We're going to hit that magic number.
100.
Hey! just like watercolor or oil painting or any kind of paint. You gotta mix it. Here's the gooey part. But you don't want to eat this. Now you can kind of see the color here that we're going to get. It's kind of pretty to do that. Nice, purpley violet. Once it's mixed up, put it in the can. Store it there. This makes approximately 1 pound of ink. We'll only use about 4 tablespoons in printing this job, so we'll have some left over for someone else. Okay, now what we're going to do, pick up the press. So, this is a fountain, and the ink goes inside the fountain. So we pull that up there, lock it in. I'm going to put the ink into the press. We don't need a lot. Put it on top of the roller. There's your glue.
Wow.
A little more in there. Okay. Now we have to get the ink from the fountain all the way to the other side. When I start up the press, this will rotate and this will touch this plate. This is called a ductor. It'll pick up the ink, then it will transfer to here, then it will transfer to here, up to here, back to here, and onto the drum. That's where the ink goes, but now we have to get the ink from the drum to the plate. And that's what these 2 rollers are for. These 2 rollers come across the plate, it refreshes itself with the ink, comes back and puts the ink on the plate. Each time the paper comes in, it takes ink away, so you have to put ink back on it. So it's just this back and forth, back and forth. So are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. And that line is nice and even. Now we're going to let the ink flow. Now watch. Mix the ink up, transfers it there, the drum.
Wow.
Watch the drum as it goes through.
Very cool.
You know, that looks about right. Stop it. Here's the plate. We're going to take that and mount it onto the press. Take it in, push it in, lock it in. Now it needs to be inked. Doesn't show anything right now, but watch. Watch what happens. Let's see the ink. Oh, look, it's changing color. Wow.
Excellent.
Now we need to transfer that ink onto your paper. Okay. So, put the paper inside the press. The reason they call this a windmill is because it has 2 arms. And you'll see the 2 arms working. One arm comes and picks up the paper. These are vacuum. That's what picks it up.
All right.
Takes it in here, drops it off, makes the impression. The other one comes around, picks the sheet up, and drops it off here. So it just pick up, impression, drop off. Pick up, impression, drop off. Pretty simple. And voila!
We've made 201 copies. Time to clean the press.
Get rid of the ink. Spent all that time putting the ink on, and now we have to spend trying to take it off. The next
Treasure!
That was fun.
Writing is is a wonderful way to tell a story.
It can help us discover the world around us and express the treasures within.
You can use writing to share a story, to journal your thoughts, or to imagine a whole new world.
What stories do you have to tell? We wrote our story in a book. It's called The Butterfly Ship.
Once upon a time,
Maya and Ever lived in a land of beautiful rivers and trees.
aboard the ship of treasure, they traveled over land and seas.
And now they tell a fantastical tale of sunlit treasures on a starlight breeze.
The end.
Blood and watery soul.
Visit www.shipoftreasure.com to get copies of The Periwinkle Moon and The Butterfly Ship coloring book. You can also download printable worksheets to accompany each episode and support our work on Patreon.
Wow!
Produced by the Silver Ray Story Company.